Hey, fellow people who are not sleeping. It is fairly early in the morning, Eastern time. Uh, Continuing on with the quarantine, I'm a little concerned that the timer on the video is not working, but Facebook just changed a bunch of settings, and earlier I had the same problem, but afterwards there was a video. So, today I'm going to be talking about another poet that I think should be in the modern poetry canon. If you kick out a bunch of the dead white guys who are all doing the same sort of poetry. And tonight I've chosen a poet out of Korea, Kim Hyesoon, who is often translated into English by a poet named Don Mee Choi, whose work might be showing up on the list later. Um, she goes by the term woman poet, which used to be a disparaging term in Korea, but I don't think many people have disparaging things to say about her poetry. She is widely read, widely translated, and is super awesome. So I'm going to be reading some of her work tonight from this book, Sorrowtoothpaste Mirrorcream, which you can totally order online from Action Books. You don't have to go to Amazon. You can ask your local bookstore to order it, but if they can't do it, actionbooks.com, they'll get this to you. It's very good. Footnote to the first poem I'm going to do is there's a point in it where I'll be saying a bunch of names and hopefully not horrifically mispronouncing them. But they're the following names. Kim So-young, Kim Chun-soo, and Kim Chong-sam are the names of prominent contemporary male Korean poets who are all deceased. The last syllables of their name, Yong, Soo, and Sam, are treated as homonyms for numbers. This is called Dear Collie from Melon. In November, I was sleepless. In November, the stars on the ceiling all lit up. In November, my heart was so bright that I couldn't close my eyes. I was in a precarious state, and the cold well rose above my head. Melon and Collie lay in a blue bucket, making fists. They clammed up like a cavity-ridden piano. Melon covered herself in a cloud, Collie with a shadow. Melon endured the wind. Collie clung to the sea. Melon said its flesh scented. Collie said its water scented. Melon disliked sunlight. Collie's feet were cold. Melon didn't eat. Collie didn't drink. I was absent when Melon ate. Also, when Collie drank water. Melon is a frag. Collie is a mint. Melon is a diss. Collie is a purse. My skin cracked like a jigsaw puzzle. Melon said, long ago. Collie wept, ages ago. Melon ate soap. Collie became laundry. I swirled the wet laundry around my neck like one of Saturn's rings. Melon has a tongue of ice. Collie has eyes of ice. My shoulders hurt from carrying ice. A woman appeared with a yoke loaded with melon on her left shoulder, Collie on her right. Heaven, hell, continually binary like a Tibetan grandma spinning prayer wheel. The woman poured beneath my skin a bucket full of melon, then Collie, and left. Kim So-young is Kim Soo 000. Kim Chun-soo is Kim Chun number. Kim Chong-sam is Kim Chong 333. Step left, then step right. After 0 is 1, after 2 is 3, after melon is Collie. A night when all the mathematics of the world a night when all the mathematics of the world appear, the poets I admire are still clinging to death's umbilical cord. Dear Melon, from Collie. Dear November, from December. Melon combed rain streaks. Collie plowed them. Melon put a white running shoe on her left foot. Collie put a white running shoe on her right foot. I covered up a pair of white birds, strings cut on my feet. I couldn't come and go as such. The way Mommy Bear eats a swarm of fire ants. That my body grows uncontrollably large. That every time a wound appears, I cut up a small piece of cloth to cover it. Cut up and cover. Cover again. Then find myself covered with a quilt pulled over my head. My mommy told me never get under a quilt. Never learn to quilt. She told me as I patch and patch, I'll never get out of poverty. That now I'm walking like a bundled up garbage quilt. That at one point you used to eat me, bite me, control me, use me, but now I've become a quiet thing. Like a bundle of garbage. That I smell like a homeless person who has become one with a pull cart. That when I when kicked lightly by front hoofs, I'm like a deer. Roe deer. That I'm huge to the point of dying, that there is only me on the freeway scorched by sun, that there are only things that run away when they see me. Like the enormous gray bear that sleeps while it walks, like the enormous black lace cloud fluttering above eyelids, like the dump truck leaking dribbles of oil in the middle of a desert, like the house with rotten stairs and 6 feet of dust collected in the attic, that there is no one except me standing all alone, that I'm getting larger and larger as I'm chased off the road, that I'm filled with all the screams of the world, that there is nothing else but that. I am, of course, in addition to finding a lot of grief poems in a time when people are kind of trapped at home, I'm oddly finding a lot of poems about capitalism in the most unlikely places. My free market. No one's asking to buy, but I lay out a mat to sell things, a few flabby keys for silence that look like birds' tongues, a few bell sounds that get mashed when clutched, a few pages of landscape paintings that quietly melt when your eyes open. Gold, liver, pages of faces, hordes of vagueness that can be buried in the coffin made from songs, churches that raise the voltage of insanity, trembling blessed red shops of the night, and me. I just lay out a mat and sell flabby keys in front of a snoring white rabbit. Right now, I'm in the middle of worshipping a pianist who is dressed like an undertaker. I also worship the cleats of his black shoes, when stars fall out from his open arms and caress the wheels of my mat. I even worship his bald head when he replies to the encore of an encore by playing a nocturne. I prostrate myself under his feet and devour the commas. However, didn't our father of the Iron Age, like a fish, undergo external fertilization with a young virgin? Then are we to believe in fish and believe in the son of fish? Shall I tie a ribbon to the fish on the cutting board? Would you like to buy a flower pin to fasten the ribbon to your heart? I have fish that spill clear roe when squeezed. Of course, I even have stars you can wear on your arms. Tack pins fall out from my coughs on the cutting board. Fingers promptly wrap around the knife blade. 2 black butterflies, used as a blanket for the eyes, letting you peek into blackness over there. On top of my bloated mat, as if it's been pulled from a flood, I also have replica lips with burns from all the questions. A bottle of dark wine, when uncorked, pours out doubts you detest hearing. Robbed of its skin and mocked by bones, an animal that's left only with its eternal organs. A horse-throated scream basket, a pair of fishbone shoes you can slip onto bare feet. What would you like to buy? Glass cage. I'm swimming inside the well filled with broken glass. Ah, this heart that wants to cry itself to pieces was given to me by this well. A cafe cries, a cup cries, a bottle cries, a plant cries, a waiter's apron cries. The girl collecting broken glass with an umbrella has been looking in for a while now, standing, stuck to the window. Long ago, all the things I ever wanted were inside a display case. Maybe that's why I became afraid of everything kept behind the glass. My lovers asked, "Are you afraid of this wine? Why are you afraid? Are you afraid of that bread? Why are you afraid? Are you afraid of the people behind the glass window? Why are you afraid?" It's pouring. 10 tons of glass beads fall every hour on the asphalt pavement. Our past and our future are all inside the transparent beads. Place a bead onto your palm and look into it. We can't cross from this bead to that bead. We don't know where these droplets of water have been. Outside the window, trucks loaded with glass beads are occupying. Let's not meet in our next life. My glass helmet filled with fading crimson flowers. One remaining flower stuck onto my neck is blooming. Perhaps conjoin and unable to conjoin are synonyms. Perhaps you get cut even if you touch the glass lightly. After the glass breaks and the hearts spill out, that's the end of us. We sink deep into the well filled with broken glass. A waiter leaves a bottle of wine on the table. Title: Still Life Number 10. People in Front of Wine. Subtitle: Prisoner and Visitor. The water pressure of 100 broken glasses. My neck snaps to one side. Moon bead necklace. I draw a circle around my ankle, pull it up to my knee, then wrap it around my neck. I look in the mirror and try tugging on it, like the plant growing inside a skinny bottle, like the root that puts down roots again, like the budding beneath my feet. The minty scent rises from my body, like the face of someone who's locked inside the bird cage hung from the wall, like the bird that flies high up looking for its feet locked inside a cave. I suddenly feel like a drum. Its veins popped out, flying skyward, like the tree that trembles with its face to the stormy sky. The trees huddled darkly in the forest below the hearts, like the tallest tree looking down on them. Who's holding up the drumsticks and pounding my face? Like the clogged pen, blood rushes to my face, like the yellow moon, my mud-soiled feet ache. The black forest below keeps going down as it cries, ah, like someone who is dying because she can't escape the stares of music. Alone, all alone, everyone I know is so tiny down below. But I lift my face bigger than the moon above the dark forest, like a lime-yellow bog soaring into the air. I keep tugging on the line, drawn around my neck. I've got one more, and then I am done reading this book. According to the little timer, it's only been 6 minutes, but it's a lie. I hope you are enjoying these. I've got a few other books that I'm going to do. Probably one more tonight, maybe two. We'll see. Books that I think should be in the literary canon. Coming up soon. Brian Ellis, Daphne Gottlieb, and anyone who dares to claim that Patricia Smith shouldn't be in the modern canon clearly doesn't know what they're talking about, but I will be doing some Patricia Smith poetry as well. This is the final one by Kim Hyesoon. Again, her book is called Sorrowtoothpaste Mirrorcream. I have another of her books that came out more recently that's all poems about death that is just fascinating, but kind of a bummer to read right now. You should still read it. But I thought this might be more interesting for people unfamiliar with her work. This last poem is called Ostrich, and there's an ostrich there. There's also my cat, who's sometimes called Shit Ostrich. But she's currently hiding. Ostrich. Its body is tiny like an embryo, yet its wings are extremely long. This terrible thing came looking for me. A thing that is like a cross between a camel and a waterfowl. A thing that is like a cross between a camel and a waterfowl that hates land, sky, or water came looking for me. Its feet appear rock hard for walking in the desert, but it has bulging cheeks for catching fish. Am I an ostrich that doesn't know it's an ostrich? My glasses keep slipping down. This thing came looking around with glasses on the bridge of his nose. Actually, my body's filled with a foreign language. Not English, Chinese, Ratties, Whalese, or Elephantese. It's a language I've never heard of. It's noisy as the scorching sun. Actually, my body's filled with insects, not flies, mosquitoes, ants, worms, or centipedes. They look like something that just escaped after sweating from a dead body. You have to look at them with a magnifying glass, but you could say they're like my heart that has dispersed like dust inside me, couldn't you? Like an organism anxious to eat me up after I'm dead? Overall, you could say it looks like an ugly tree that has come up from the floor, couldn't you? Its look of surprise, the way it speaks, chirp chirp, like a bird. You could say it looks like a fowl that has lost its feet, floundering about, fallen into a dream. Couldn't you? You could say it looks like a weed that has made its way up through the crack in my torn heart, even bored through my black bra and grown so tall. Couldn't you? Anyway, it looks confused, as if it's sticking its head out of a tiny hole. It looks far away, even if it's standing right in front. It roams the hallway at night, for its wings are too heavy for flight. I said this before, but its body is tiny, yet its wings stretch endlessly. It's done with living. Yet the moment of dying is so long. It occasionally lets out the terrible cry of a camel. I even got up from sleep to look at this thing. It reeks. But we are good friends. When I first saw this thing, I thought it was like my eyelashes, trapped in my retina for the last time when I die, like a Christmas tree, deserted years ago in a vacant house, its terrible pose that doesn't allow it to rub the dust from its eyes, like looking into a microbe that is nested inside your nostrils with a magnifying glass, as big as a house.